London leaders of nations called for greater efforts to open talks with North Korea on Wednesday, pushing back against an escalation of military rhetoric between President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. North Korea, reacting to her United Nations Security Council resolution calling for sanctions against the North for developing nuclear weapons and missile systems, said it would not give up its military program and said its missiles could reach anywhere in the United States. After Trump threatened fire and fury on Tuesday if North Korea's provocations continue, Kim Jong-un's regime then announced that it was considering to attack Guam, a U.S. territory in the Pacific. Some U.S. allies appeared to blame Trump's remarks for the escalation. Germany's Foreign Office called on all parties for moderation on Wednesday. Sabrera Tilling want help, the Foreign Ministry said in the tweet. Concerns in Germany were shared by officials and experts elsewhere. The spokeswoman for the European Union's foreign policy chief agreed that a lasting peace and denuclearization of the Korean peninsula must be achieved through peaceful means. That excludes military action, said the spokeswoman. President Donald Trump speaks during a briefing at Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster, NJ, photo app in New Zealand. Prime Minister Bill English similarly called Trump's comments not helpful in a standoff that was already very tense. It comes as Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull warned that responding to North Korea's threats with fire and fury, as Trump had warned, would have catastrophic consequences worldwide. The Australian leader argued that instead, economic pressure and sanctions could be more effective at deterring the Kim Jong-un regime. The United Nations Security Council on the weekend unanimously passed a US-sponsored resolution imposing tougher economic sanctions against North Korea. Photo app Turnbull was referring to sanctions passed unanimously by the UN Security Council last weekend, a response to North Korea's launch of 2 intercontinental missiles in July. The latest measures step up restrictions on North Korea's international trade, with estimates saying that they may cost the country about $1 billion annually. The global community, led by the Security Council, including China and Russia, are all united in seeking to bring the maximum economic pressure on North Korea to bring them to their senses without conflict, Turnbull was quoted as saying on Wednesday. Bill English, New Zealand's Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister, speaks during a news conference at the Parliament House in Wellington, New Zealand, on Monday, December 5, 2016. New Zealand Prime Minister John Key said he will step down next week and backed his deputy, English, to succeed him. Photographer Mark Coote Bloomberg photo Mark Coote a conflict would be shattering. It would have catastrophic consequences. We all understand that, Turnbull said. Some nations voiced concerns that Trump's threats could endanger the prospects of recent international efforts. Sasha Sergio Llorente Solís, the UN ambassador of Bolivia, which is currently a temporary member of the Security Council, criticized that Trump's escalation of rhetoric goes against the spirit of the UN sanctions, which called for international talks. Trump's decision to raise tensions would be detrimental to international peace, Solís said. But a representative for Britain refrained from lashing out at Trump. Speaking to reporters in New York City, Matthew Rycroft, Britain's UN ambassador, said the United Kingdom was standing shoulder to shoulder with the United States. Asked about the rhetoric used by Trump on Tuesday, Rycroft responded, "What's hurting the six-party talks is the inability so far of the North Korean regime to do what it has to do, which is to halt its nuclear program and to halt its intercontinental ballistic missile program." Washington Post.